Hey everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to do my March TBR. So, you guys, I never do monthly TBRs ever, and I think it's because, like, when I feel like I have to read a certain something, I get really overwhelmed and really like where I don't want to read those things. Like, as soon as you tell me I have to read this list of books, I don't want to read them. And so I don't make TBRs for that reason. But I also have like a lot of books on my physical shelf and just a lot of books in general that I want to read. So that huge amount is kind of overwhelming. And so what I'm trying to do this month is make a TBR that is pretty big and it still gives me options, but it kind of narrows down the choice field. I don't know if that makes any sense, but this month I'm also trying to do a lot of things. There are 4 readathons going on that I'm going to low-key participate in. So there's the Backlist readathon, which is hosted by Mrs. Dunn Reads, Bree from Falling for Romance, and Jacqueline. And so that is going on the 7th through the 13th. And so I'm going to be doing that. Like, that's the only one that I'm going to be doing like hardcore. Then there's also middle grade March Mystery Madness, and the Irish Readathon going on. And I really want to make sure I'm dipping my toes in all of those because all of those are wonderful, wonderful creators. Middle grade March is Krista from Books and Jams and Katie from Life Between Words. March Mystery Madness is created by Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books. And she's got a whole bunch of different hosts. And then the Irish Readathon is Words of Clover by it's Aoife. She is so wonderful. And so I really want to support my friends and do all of the readathons. And so I've got just a lot going on that I feel like I can tell you a close to accurate TBR. So let's just get into it. So the first thing, like I said, I'm going to be doing the Backlist readathon, and that just has a few prompts, and so I'm going to try to hit them all, but I have made options for myself. So the first one is a book published before 2017. So there is so many books on my shelf that are backlists that I could pick up. But the one I'm going to talk about right now is Bad for You by Abby Glines. I picked this one because this also counts for the Unread Shelf Challenge. The prompt for March is a book you bought on a trip. And you guys, I have told you I'm so terrible at remembering where I got my books, but I know for sure I got this one at a town. It's like a town like 30 minutes, 20 minutes away, but it was a trip. We went there and with the intention of buying books, it was a book trip. I'm saying it counts. And so this is going to count for a book published before 2017, as well as for the Unread Shelf Challenge, a book that I bought on a trip. Next is a middle grade book. So, obviously, there's so many options, and I'm really not going to set like a middle grade TBR per se, just because with middle grade, I feel like it is very much when I need it and what I need, and I like to just go to my shelf or go to the library apps or whatever and pick what I want. But the Book Sisters, our theme is middle grade mystery, and so we have 3 choices. And whichever one is chosen for the Book Sisters, I guarantee I will read. I may read all 3, but we've got Spying on Miss Mueller by Eve Bunting, which would also be a mystery. Of course, these are all middle grade mysteries. I just said that. Escape from Mr. Limoncello's Library by Chris Gravenstein. And then also the first super mystery from the Babysitters Club, which is called The Babysitter's Haunted House. So I have read all of these, I think. Maybe not the Babysitters Club book, but I for sure have read the other 2. And so they will be a reread, but I love, like, middle grade is so comforting and rereads are comforting. So I'll for sure be reading one of these. And of course it'll count for middle grade March, March Mystery Madness, and the Backlist Readathon. Then we've got a backlist book from your favorite genre. So I'm doing 2 choices here too, because I feel like I have 2 favorite genres, thriller and women's fiction. So for thriller, I have the option of I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. And this one I don't know a whole lot about. I think it's about a missing child or something, a woman grieving her child. I don't know. I really like to know as little as possible about my thrillers. And so this counts for the Backlist Readathon as well as March Mystery Madness. I'm saying mysteries and thrillers are kind of the same thing. I'm stretching it a whole bunch, so let's just go with it. So next is, for women's fiction in a backlist from my favorite genre, is Family for Beginners by Sarah Morgan. This one just gives me the summer lake vibes, and I can't wait. Next is an own voices backlist. So what I'm going to be reading is erotic stories for Punjabi widows. So this is about a woman who she is an Indian woman, and she doesn't want to be a part of the Indian community, but she ends up having to go teach this creative writing class to a bunch of older Indian women. And so she is teaching this creative writing class, and they bring in erotica, and she has to like teach them how to use it as a creative writing tool, I think. I don't know. I'm buddy reading this with Rainy from Rainy Day Reads, and neither of us know like anything about it, and we're both like really scared about erotica. So I don't think this is like got any of that in it. It's just used as a tool for the women. I don't really know, but this is an Indian woman telling Indian stories, and so that is an own voices book. Next is a book recommended by a book influencer. So that could be like all of my shelves, because I really have a hard time, like now that I'm on booktube, I just so many, but I have three options here. So I've got The Fire Between High and Low by Brittany C. Cherry. This one I have heard some people say is their favorite, but I love Brittany C. Cherry. I know this is going to be great. And so this one definitely could be an option. The other one is The Stolen Marriage by Diane Chamberlain. This one specifically I have heard great things about, but Diane Chamberlain, again, she is one of my auto-buy authors, and so you don't have to convince me too hard to try these. And then the last one, of course, is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. I have heard so many people love this book. So this one's kind of a darling, and I have not read it, so I think it may be a contender. Last, this is like a bonus prompt, and it is a book of the month backlist. So January was my first ever month in book of the month, and I actually skipped it. I wasn't interested in any of the January titles, so I just recently got my first book of the month books. However, I am a part of some Facebook swap groups, and they have book of the month constantly. So I've got two that are a book of the month backlist that I could try. I've got Cross Her Heart by Sarah Pinborough, or Ghosted by Rosie Walsh. So I've got these as choices. I don't really know. If you guys have opinions about any of these that I'm giving like multiple options for, let me know. I don't know. I can't guarantee I'll read them, but I would really love your opinion. So that is everything for the backlist readathon. There's quite a few different like thrillers and things in there, so that those would count for March Mystery Madness. Only the one middle grade. And you guys, I was saying to Sarah and Bree, I was like, hey, if the Babysitters Club book is chosen, I might try to just like binge up to that point in the series, because I have a printout of every book in like publication order, because it's a first super mystery. But you guys, it's like 86 books into the series, so I will not be doing that. That's the only middle grade I have like planned to do. But I plan to do more, if that makes sense. I just don't know what. So the next kind of category, the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge is another challenge I'm doing, and that one is recommended by a friend. So any of those could be recommended by a friend. Then Buddy Reads, I'm doing the Erotic Stories for Punjabi Widows with Rainy from Rainy Day Reads. And then I'm also reading 9 Perfect Strangers by Leah Moriarty with Karen from Rather Be Reading. And so she gifted this to me for Christmas, and I cannot wait to read it with her. I love buddy reading with her. This is also, I think, a mystery. So I'm really knocking off March Mystery Madness all over the place. Next is NetGalley. I have Mother May I by Jocelyn Jackson, and that's the only one that I think I have to read by, like, that comes out at the very beginning of April, so I really like to read them like the month before, so I'm going to read that. That is another thriller mystery, so I'm going to be reading that for sure from NetGalley. And then the only other thing that I'm going to read is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. So I haven't read this, and I really want to. This one, I believe, takes place in Ireland, so it counts for the Irish Readathon as well as the March Mystery Madness. So that is my TBR. That is a lot of books, a lot of choices. I feel good about this, and I will just constantly be kind of keeping my eye on my shelves as well as my library apps and that kind of thing for other either Irish books or mystery books or middle grade books. I am actually going to haul 1 or 2 middle grades this month, and so maybe what I'll do is just go ahead and directly read those. I don't really know, but That is my plan for March. Like I said, if you have any opinions about any of these, let me know, and I will definitely kind of bump them up on the priorities, because as it is, like, these are completely, I could completely do them all. I just want to make sure that I'm allowing myself some mood reading. So we'll see how it goes. How is your March looking? Tell me what you're excited about, and we'll talk to you in the next one.